This is Ukraine's invasion cutting through a small town in Suja. It caught one of the world's superpowers, Russia, by surprise. And what's particularly interesting is that they accomplished this with just a small mechanized brigade. These brigades included around 11 main battle tanks and 20 infantry fighting vehicles, such as the American Bradley and the 8-wheeled armored fighting vehicle Stryker, along with a significant number of FPV drones costing only $1,000 each. These drones can cause havoc and help damage or destroy tanks like the Russian T-90, which costs around $4.5 million each, shifting the tide on the battlefield. The Ukrainian forces, instead of attacking head-on, executed this invasion by maneuvering around heavily defended checkpoints and attacking the enemy from the rear. This strategy caught the Russian army by surprise while reinforcements were cut off by HIMARS artillery systems, thus enabling them to take over 1,000 square kilometers, which translates to around 386 square miles, with all possible scenarios all in the video ahead. Let's take a look at the basic process on how Ukraine invades Russia. Step 1. They use special forces to attack communications and internet service tower. The reason they did this was to prevent Russian soldiers from reporting or organizing troops. Step 2. They move fast mechanized brigades to somewhat like a blitzkrieg campaign from Ukraine to the Russian town of Suja. Step 3. Artillery mortar round like this one will dismount and lay on suppressive fire for the advancing troops. Here is a basic process of how they fire a mortar. To aim the crosshair, he uses both hands and adjusts the tripod elevation using the knob as shown in the animations. The loader then sets the impact fuse to proximity, near surface, impact, and delay mode. The proximity fuse causes the round to burst at 3 to 13 feet, which translates to 1 to 4 meters above the target. The near surface burst explodes just 1 to 3 feet above the ground. The IMP impact fuse bursts when the shell reaches the ground. The delayed mode works for small structures and explodes half a second after impact. Mortar rounds, when dropped by the loader, hit this sharp firing pin located at the base of the cannon, which triggers the detonators and activates the ring charges. This results in the very high explosive gases which propels the mortar to the desired target. Step 4. Move around a heavily defensive checkpoint instead of attacking them head-on and then re-attacking them from the rear. This process of making a U-turn attack helps them keep an element of surprise. Step 5. Use Russian news and traffic cameras to geolocate the reinforcement troops and tanks. They then hit them with HIMARS missile systems, thereby blocking resupply or additional backups. Step 6. Use the American F-16 like the AIM heat-seeking missile for any counterattack for helicopters like the Ka-52 or heavy gunship helicopters like the M124 for troops transport. Let's take a look inside this missile. This is the heat-seeking missile, and inside this cover is the optical guidance system. The heat source from this aircraft travels through a set of lenses into the reticle, which spins on its axis. These infrared signatures are converted into audible tones like this sound here. All said and done, the pilot releases the missile, which uses a solid fuel rocket as the motor to chase the infrared heat source. The servo section controls the 4 canards to guide this AIM-9 Sidewinder towards the target. Let's take a look at this mechanized brigades and the various vehicles used during the attack. Interestingly, the tip of the spear might be the Soviet-era UR-77 mine-clearing vehicles. So how does it work? The mine-clearing system operates by opening the lid and launching a line charge filled with explosives over this minefield. Once the line charge is in place, it is detonated, creating a shockwave and blast pressure that either neutralizes or detonates any mines within the vicinity of the explosion. As a mechanized brigade, they rely on main battle tanks like the Ukrainian T-84, which is based on the Soviet-era T-80 tank. These are often accompanied by the more common T-64 tanks, a model introduced in the early 1960s during the Soviet era. At least one infantry fighting vehicles, such as the Bradley, will also be heading the convoy. Interestingly, during the Gulf War, M2 Bradleys destroyed more armored vehicles and tanks than the M1 Abrams. Depending on variants, it can seat around 4 infantry soldiers, as shown in these visualizations. However, the U.S. Marines and Army can rearrange depending on the mission by removing the tube-launched missiles and add another seating area to make space for 6 heavily armed soldiers. As an infantry fighting vehicle, we need to move the turret using the Cadillac switch to fire the Bushmaster chain gun, or the tow tube-launched, optically tracked, wireless guided missile. As a mechanized brigade, they were also supported by the American Stryker, which can also be used as a command and control as well for carrying troops and infantry units during assaults. However, the BMP-1 also makes up a significant portion of the mechanized fighting vehicles, along with this BTR-80. This is an 8x8 wheeled amphibious armored personnel carrier built during the Soviet era. This is Scenario 1 on the Russian strategy on Ukraine. The Russian army is currently focused on closing the gap in Volchansk, a strategic area that plays a crucial role in their military objectives. The primary aim of the Russian forces is to secure this line by indirectly annexing the surrounding region, thereby strengthening their control and cutting off Ukrainian advances. In response, Ukrainian forces launched an attack, which according to Russian sources began in the early morning at around 7. This is the mechanized Ukrainian troops which reportedly crossed the border through this narrow area, initiating a counteroffensive designed to disrupt Russian plans. By executing this maneuver, the Ukrainians are strategically forcing the Russian military to redeploy personnel from Volchansk to the Kursk region, weakening the Russian presence in this area. One of the key objectives under this scenario is to create an opportunity for the Ukrainian army to retake Volchansk. By stretching Russian resources thin and compelling them to defend multiple fronts, the Ukrainians may gain the upper hand in this critical region. In Scenario 2, the focus shifts to Lipetsk, home to a significant airbase where numerous bomber jets, primarily the Sukhoi Su-34, are stationed. These aircraft have been wreaking havoc on Ukrainian forces with their devastating glide bombs, making the airbase a critical target in the conflict. The primary structure of this weapon is substantial, with the standard model weighing approximately 500 kilograms, which translates to 1,100 pounds. The most crucial component of the glide bomb is the Unified Gliding Correction Module. It has probably a Russian GLONASS guidance system, commonly referred to as the UMPK bomb kit, which ensures the bomb's desired trajectory and accuracy during deployment. Additionally, the tail stabilizer is an essential part of this glide weapon. It provides aerodynamic stability when dropped under gravity. At the forefront of the bomb is the fuse adapter, a critical component that houses the triggering mechanism. Positioned immediately behind the fuse adapter is the auxiliary booster, which plays a vital role in the activation of the TNT bomb. The Sukhoi Su-34, NATO reporting named Fullback, is a Soviet-origin Russian twin-engine, all-weather supersonic medium-range fighter bomber or strike aircraft. Let's take a look at how this works in a super simplified animation. Step 1. Sukhoi fighter jets can approach a target closely, staying just outside the range of enemy air defense systems. Step 2. As soon as the pilot flips the switch, the bomb is released. The safety pin is pulled by gravity as the bomb falls. Step 3. Initially, the wing kit is upside down. Once the bomb is safely away from the fighter bomber, the wing kit slowly turns and deploys its wings, transforming the bomb into a glide weapon. This conversion gives it a range of up to 70 kilometers, which is approximately 43 miles. Step 4. The wings can make small, precise adjustments during flight, guided by the GLONASS, the Russian equivalent of GPS, directing the bomb to the pre-assigned longitude and latitude that is the designated target area. Ukraine is advancing at an incredibly fast pace with the objective of surrounding, taking over, or destroying this airbase. By doing so, they aim to cut through the Russian defensive line, significantly disrupting the enemy's aerial capabilities. Successfully neutralizing this airbase would not only cripple a vital element of Russia's air power, but also alleviate pressure on other key areas, particularly Pokrovsk. As one of the most strategically important regions, reducing the threat from Lipetsk would allow Ukrainian forces to concentrate more effectively on defending and potentially reclaiming this area. In Scenario 3, Ukraine aims to disrupt the energy supply to the northern part of Russia. This strategy focuses on cutting power and severing critical energy links that are within reach of Ukrainian forces. One of the primary targets is the gas transit station in Suja, located about 500 kilometers from the border. This facility is a crucial entry point for gas pipelines that not only supply Ukraine, but also channel gas to other European countries. Disabling or capturing this station could significantly impact Russia's energy exports and create economic and logistical challenges. Another key target is the Kursk nuclear power plant, a vital piece of infrastructure. If Ukrainian forces were to take control of this facility, it could serve as a powerful bargaining chip in any potential peace negotiations. The presence of a nuclear power plant in contested territory would likely deter Russia from launching attacks in the area given the catastrophic risks associated with nuclear fallout. While the primary goal may not be to control these facilities long-term, their strategic value in disrupting Russian energy supplies and leveraging power in negotiations cannot be underestimated. We also make original engineering content, so please subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos.